driven decision making for small and medium businesses. During this presentation, we would understand what is data driven decision making, what does a company gain by being data driven, and address some concerns about it. We'd also look into a few examples of how an organization can go about being data driven. We'll walk through an example. I'd be happy to answer any questions towards the end of the webinar. So you can post your questions and I'll take them shortly. A quick introduction of myself. I am Smita Raja, co-founder of Noises Software, a data analytics and business intelligence software company. We provide comprehensive integrated platform for data visualization, analytics, and reporting, enabling our customers to become data driven. So, what is data driven decision making? All of us, I'm sure, compare the prices when we go to buy a car or buy clothes. We check in multiple shops. We don't just land up at the theater to watch a movie without checking the show timings and checking the availability of seats. In today's traffic condition, you need to check that as well. So, what are we doing there? We're all making informed decisions relying on data, right? How is it different then for an organization? I'm sure all of you would feel that yes, we are already doing all of this. So, what is different? The difference is about building a strategy within the organization to govern your business by backing it by verifiable data. It's also about making this a process, moving away from one off requests, requesting data from your CAs or internally to be able to make it as a strategy and approach, which is an organization wide approach to be able to bring data governance and making it relevant for the business. It is it is more about having a streamlined process to capture, analyze, and disseminate information across the organization. It also makes you accountable. So, very importantly, if you are not tracking what you need to track from your business, you would tend to lose focus. And that is what we mean by having the organization to become a data driven decision making organization. And what do you gain by doing this? So, the typical answers are around being competitive, customer focused. But let me go a little more deeper on how would you do that, right? If you have data about your competitors, you do appear to be a benchmarking. You check what are they pricing their products at, what are their strategies in pricing and in their strategies in and servicing customers. You could play around various scenarios using tools and techniques to peg your product against another client's product or another competitor's product. Changing the market environment changes, so you have to change. Say now recently GST got introduced, right? I'm not very recent, but yeah. So a lot of retailers and marketeers felt that the impact of GST and how do we price our products accordingly. If you have the right techniques and tools to be able to do an analysis, perform a goal seeking, what if this condition change, what is the impact of that on my pricing, I would be able to launch and move into the market much faster. Similarly, to be customer focused is to understanding the buying behavior of the customer. You need to be able to do that. For that, you need data. Being able to plan their marketing campaigns, how would you do your digital campaigns in to be that, how would you reach out to customers to get the right messaging. It's very critical to be backed with data to be able to do all of this. Even within internally within the organization, to be agile and responsive to the changing business needs, changing organization needs, from your team members, from your stakeholders, from your staff. It's important to have data on hand to be able to make decisions. And the last thing I would say, I mean, all organizations are collecting data, right from your basic sales information, in which is in invoicing, in tally, to advanced solutions that where you're capturing data, or even in simple Excel sheets. You are actually making a lot of use of putting a lot of money in investing on storing this data. But when you actually start using them for your improving your business efficiency, your processes, your performance, that's when you actually see the return on investment on that. And all this requires the data driven foundation to be laid within the organization, and not think of it as a substitute for a gut feel. Okay, let me check this. I think this is the way. What would X think, or how do I do this in the tool and see what it is? It has to become part of your culture to be data driven. A few of you may believe, and I come across this in with a lot of clients of ours as well, that is it really for us to be data driven? Means it's primarily for large organizations, for biggies who can invest a lot of time and money to be able to perform and keep a continuous model where they can keep feeding on the data, keep making improvements, and acting upon those. But that necessarily is not true, because as a business leader who's wearing multiple hats in a small and medium business, you have time constraints. It is all the more important for you to be on top of the information and run your operations, overseeing the activities more effectively. So at times when you are constrained for information, you would just go ahead and make some assumptions and estimates. A good example I like to give you recently that I had is one of a company that is into food and beverage. They launched a new product, and they quickly came back saying, hey, wow, our product is being taken by customers. It's quickly getting sold out. It's the number one. They started looking at from that. But when we went back to the data, we realized that this information was misleading. The products was not really getting sold out fast. They were getting stocked out because the distributor, there was a glitch in the distribution process, which they did not realize too much later. Had they had the data on hand, they would have smoothened this process much earlier and made up for the lost opportunity. So if a customer comes to the store and your product is not there on the shelf, it's a loss opportunity for them. And that's exactly what was happening, and not so much that there was a lot of demand. The hindsight of when they looked at it, they also realized they were making too much, assuming that there is a lot of demand. They were producing more quantities. They were put more people on the job, and the actual truth was different when we went into the detailing of it. So the information loss, the process leakages, the time delays that would take in not having a proper governance framework is where we believe that an SMB should all the more look at investing in a data driven framework to be built within the organization. And the tangible benefits definitely outweigh the cost of doing so. Does it require technical skills? Uh, I would say that not really. In today's business world, a lot of solutions are available out there in the market that are business friendly, are user friendly, meant for the business, and not so much require deep technical knowledge or development software knowledge to be able to run and operate. They are also cost effective in terms of being available on the cloud, on subscription models, which makes it easier to access and pay for small and medium businesses. And there is really no higher upfront investment, making the business to invest on such kind of tools as you go. So that definitely outweighs the challenges that you would have from a cost point of view. So how, now that we've understood what is data driven decision making, how do we actually look at data and embed this into our organization, into the decision making process? So data, I would put it as three buckets: the past, the present, and the future. The past is your all your historical information that is getting churned from a day to day basis. What happened last month, what happened yesterday, how was my quarter, going into the detail, and then further investigating and diagnosing what are the problem areas, how could I make it better. So you deep dive, you drill down, you look at reports, you go into more analysis onto that and look at that. More closer to the present is what is happening right now. So looking at data to understand what is happening right now within, and what can I take as an immediate action. So it could be setting up certain targets, defining certain alerts if there is a breach of this, or if there is a that you have set some conditions saying if your sales has fallen below x number, need to take some action. You could look at various points in the data and be more, align your strategy, align your business objectives accordingly. And further, the data also allows you to look into the future. Like I was telling you about the example where about how can I price my products, what is the impact of a new change in a economic condition or the government regulatory, what is the impact of this on the business, on my product pricing, how can I make it better. And then this enables you to respond to the market, right? So what is likely to happen, how do I prepare myself for it, is critical. So be it hindsight or foresight, data gives you the ability to be able to manage it well. So let's look at how an organization embraces data driven decision making. So I have this classic case that many people come back to me with, let giving me an Excel sheet of data and saying that, okay, can you help me to look at what, how my organization is performing or how my business unit is performing. And that's a good starting point that you are equipped with data, but is it the right place? I would not think so. I would first like to understand, and we do this in our workshops with our customers, is that we first try to understand what is it that you are looking for, what is it that you're trying to achieve, or what problems you are trying to solve, or what decision you're trying to arrive at. That is a good starting point to say that where do I need to be, and then look at the data as to how it can help me to get there. So, so as a first step, or the first step to the strategy of having a data driven framework, is to look at what are my key objectives. Is it to improve efficiency? Is it to improve revenue and sales? Is it and look at that. Once I have uh, this information, then I actually look at how do I go about getting this? What are the key metrics? What are the key processes that I need to look at to be able to bring about this change, or to meet that efficiency? To give you an example, if I were to look at improving my revenues on my online store, right? I'm looking at, hey, I have 5,000 visitors visiting my site every day. Now that's a metric, the number of hits. But does that really help? Is it helping me to decide how should I be planning my marketing campaigns? Not really. What is then the metric that I should be looking at, or as an e-com player would be looking at, is what are the conversions that people that would happen on my store? Or if you are looking at as a physical format, then what are the footfalls that are falling into my store? What are people buying? What is the average basket size that they're looking at, and so on, right? Also, even if you look at a typical example of the e-commerce, people put items in the basket but not necessarily check it out, do not buy. So that's a good place to start. So why are people putting things in the basket but not buying? What is stopping them from making a decision? So that enables us to look at that kind of metric will help us to arrive at a decision. Okay, why is my sales not picking up, and I want to address that problem. So the objectives and the metrics should go hand in hand. Once you have decided what is needed, what KPIs you need, or what metrics you need, you then go into understand where can I get information to arrive at this. And that's when we look at the data itself, right? Now, the data could reside in multiple places. It could be in Excel sheet simply. It could be in a sophisticated CRM, ERP, your online stores, production systems, right? Or it's not there also. So how do I then build a data strategy to be able to bring all this in one place, to be able to get the data and make sense of it? Many a times we've seen that to arrive at a decision, we are not even capturing the data. Even if you're capturing it, it is not a clean, it's not accurate, it's not reliable, it's not useful or usable as is. So then you have to apply a lot of transformations. You'll have to look at how can I improve that before I actually start making it useful. If the data itself is missing, it shows up as anomalies, it shows up that you are not capturing this information, then you would take a step back and say, okay, what do I need to do to build systems that will address this need? So it could be implementing a simple CRM to capture customer information, or at your production side, production planning solution, depending upon what the metric is all about. And finally, when you have all this in place, how do I make it accessible to all? How do I view, collaborate, share? The whole important process of embracing the data driven decision making is to be able to spread it into the organization, making everyone aware of what it is, how do you use it, how can I look at the data, how can I collaborate, how can I take decisions, how can I take actions on them. And that's where the whole process restarts from the beginning. Now that you've met one objective, let's look at the next one. So it's also a learning process that you would look at, right, typically. So, right, and we never would advocate this to be a big bang option. Yes, it is time consuming, but once it is part of your organization framework, you would understand that it becomes a part of the process, and it is something that you do as a default option, like you would do all your other activities in. So, from starting from, it could be just five or key objectives, two or three, to going towards the entire organization, from various areas that you can look at. You can go start small and then improve in steps and make this process. So we call it, our methodology in our workshop, we call it a define, discover, visualize, and govern. So you can only govern what you know, right? So making that process across, starting from a department or a small function to the entire organization, looking at that. So I put some key examples of KPIs and metrics that are across in various domains. Some of these would look familiar to you. Many of these you may be using intermittently or regularly in your business. The finance is the most common one, I would say, where people, when they SMBs will look at that, because you're looking at your cash flows, your working capital, the accounts receivable, turnovers, your inventory. If you're in a product based organization, then the inventory turnovers, these are typically that you would monitor, and easily through your audits and your financial software you would get this. Most businesses would be and should be top of on top of that. But it's the other areas that are equally important that need to be tracked. Be it the HR, which is about your entire HR function, your labor force, your team members, the talent acquisition, the retention metrics, the workflows, and the compensation. All of these metrics also help you to gain insights into how your internal processes. As a small and medium business, you may want to look at what would you want to focus. Primarily it would be the sales, marketing, and customer service that every business would want to target first. So what are your sale metrics? What makes sense to you from a business? What are the conversions? If you are a multi-channel business, you're selling your products or your services through various channels. It could be social media, it could be your physical distribution channels. What are the conversions via those channels? It's it what is the average purchasing value that a customer would do? How is your product performing in the market? What's happening and how your sales is growing? This would also feed into your marketing analytics, which is very critical for designing your next steps. For how do you campaign, how do you price, how do you look at what the customer is looking at, how do you go from customer satisfaction to customer delight, and what's that whole process. We do this as an engagement with one of our clients, where we look at their entire dealer data and look at, for every dealer, how are they processing, how are they looking at that, how does the dealer then look at satisfying the customer. Now it's not only about just selling the cars or selling the scooters, but it's about what kind of these satisfaction levels when the customer leaves the showroom with the car. What does he have to say? So it's not just about the sales, but it's also about the customer service and the overall effectiveness. So each of these metrics should tie back to an objective that you're trying to meet. This, on a similar line, we could also look at it from a domain. I've just taken three domains as examples: manufacturing, retail, and healthcare. But these could be in many businesses, be it learning, be it automotive, being the education industry, the service industry, the food and beverage industry. Each industry have industry specific metrics and KPIs that you can look at and work towards based on what your objective is. So for a hospital, the patient mortality rate is a huge uh, metric that they would look at, because that talks about the treatment levels, that talks about the safety levels and the treatment. uh, what is the patient satisfaction? It's very important. They may not be caring so much directly talking about sales for them, but it is more about the customer, the patient, and how they are treated, the doctor to patient ratio, how well the claims that come to the hospital from the insurance side are treated, how the what are the readmission rates are very important for an hospital. So it says that if I get treated from a hospital and go out and I come back, so my treatment is not really completed, and that is very high. It shows that there are some problems in terms of how we discharge the patient or on what conditions they were discharged. So each business, each functional function, and each domain has a set of KPIs. There are libraries, KPI libraries available for you to study. You can look at each one of these and tie them back to the business objective to be able to say that yes, this is what we need and this is what we need to address. And this is not something that you can do on day one. It needs to be done on a continuous process to be able to manage and monitor. I'd like to walk you through a business case of a product manufacturing unit that we did a exercise with them, or we did a workshop with them of understanding what was the key objective. They came to us with saying that they have challenges in the production side with efficiency issues and productivity issues. So we said, okay, let's start from what were they doing. So we did a deep dive into that, into their processes. We understood what, firstly we identified, okay, your key objective or what you want to meet is to understand how to improve their efficiency. So when we looked at that, and we didn't go to the data first. We tried to first understand how they are going about it. What are the processes that they are following? And when we looked at the details, when we started looking at the data, we realized that they were they knew their business in and out. So we were not here to teach them their business, but we were here to help them and guide them how can they make their improvements. So they know what they want, but they are necessarily do not know what they are looking for. And that's the cases with many SMBs that we see. And so we started with understanding what is their product. When they're saying that it's about the efficiency, it's about also about the efficiency of the, not only about the production quality, but it's also about the process that we were talking about. And for every product that they have a production plan in place. There are production lines that they would be put on to be done. There is a planned activity that they have to produce so many in a day or so many in a month. So all that is well designed and well uh, addressed. But the challenges came in a very different way, that we were seeing that they were doing a lot of data was residing in Excel sheets. Multiple managers were managing them. The data was inconsistent. Anomalies in terms of even simple things like product codes. Somebody is using SKU 101. Somebody says product ID 101. There was so they were not, the naming conventions were not clear. So the information that you get is as accurate as the data is out there. So the second thing is they were data entry mistakes in terms of the production planning was supposed to be 810. Somebody made it 801 by mistake, and there you go. It created an utter chaos through the, say that we didn't meet our target, but they had actually met their target, but the entry of the data was wrong. The analysis was happening, everything was post facto because the reports were coming in late. It was a manual process. You are dependent on a resource who is sitting out there creating that. If that gentleman is on leave for any reason, the um, that day's report is not going to come in. So this was causing a huge information loss. The data was fragmented, and the line managers, the overall production unit manager, was at loss, saying that okay, how do I improve this? So that's when we took a step back in, looked at their data processes, looked at how they were capturing data. We started from there. to make the process efficient. Where is the gaps? Where are the anomalies? We looked at their data capturing processes. We built out a proper regime of maintaining data, capturing data, giving them. We built a mobile tab app so that they can key in the data properly. There is proper naming convention. It's not left to the human user to decide that I would like to name it like this. There's proper process in place. Data gets consumed into an analytic systems where then all the comparisons, all the analysis is done, and they could then see this on the shop floor to know what's the plant versus produce, the target versus what they're actually achieving, getting to know the quality and quantity of how much they were producing, and moving there. So it was a complete transformation exercise that started from looking really where the data is to what it is. So again, to reiterate, it's not that the production manager didn't know what he wanted, but he just didn't know where to start. And that's this very important to keep in mind. So, building a data driven decision making culture within the organization is not so much about the data, it's actually about making sense of it, right? So, when we, in the same example of the manufacturing, it's not that the data was not there, just that they didn't know how to use it well, how to make sense of it for the organization. Success of a data driven decision making lies in the culture that you build. The culture is to encourage the, opinions, suggestions, recommendations by backing it with data. You look at if your colleague walks into and say, "Hey, there looks like there is a problem here, and we need to do something about this issue," you would ask for data. You would want to say, like, let's deep dive and find out what it is. So doing that problem solving, looking at that, doing a root cause analysis, and then coming back to make an improvement or coming back to make a suggestion is is the first step, right? So it's a organization wide culture that you need to build that allows for data driven decision making. More importantly, the people should get involved at all levels. And the good thing about this is, with this, the hierarchy in the organization breaks down because everybody have access to information. Even the junior most employee can walk into the CEO's cabin and say that, "Hey, I found this, and this information is important, and this could help to decide." So that gives empowers the people in the organization, helps you to reach the so the employees feel involved, employees are satisfied, creates a healthy working culture where the suggestions are respected because they are backed by data, and you're all working in sync in such an organization. So success also lies in on insisting on a data-driven process, using the right tools and techniques to be able to build this whole story. So just to highlight here, that when a person, we had this case where a person is working in silo, he is does not have the right tools. While he has all the right intent to do that, he does not have the right tools to do it. He is taking too much time to be able to produce what he is supposed to do. So this gentleman is the pricing manager in a company, and his job is to basically assist in deciding the prices of the product that they launch and every into the market. Now he's looking for data from various agencies, from the market research agencies and from other companies together to get the competitor prices. But the fact that he is working single-handedly and manually and comparing this, applying the price. So when the product ships from the factory to the shop floor or to the market, there are X number of factors, and you would know that well, right? From the taxes to the freight cost to the margins that you need to pay your dealers. All these components add to the price. Now, a change of one value can have a huge impact on the price that you need to put it out there. And we're not talking about one or two small stores. You're talking about an operations that run all over India, or even if you're talking about a larger market. So how do I peg my market to that? And if the person is not equipped to do this well, with providing proper tools, being it good data analytics tools for them to be able to compare, simulate scenarios, decide what is that I'd like to achieve. What if my price is let's say $100. What happens? What should be my what my cost is $100? What should my price be? They should be able to simulate various scenarios, put that across, and do that. So if I were to do all this manually, it would be a tremendous manual process, time consuming, also tiring to do the same thing in day out without actually automating this. So it's very important to look at the right tools to be able to do this. Very The last factor I would insist on is on the quality of data. The classic example of the manufacturing unit where I mentioned that they were using different product codes, or they were not keying the data on time, where they were not looking at what is the quality of. So if I enter, one says Bangalore, one says Bengaluru, you are not able to then do, information is not right, people are missing out on data. Right. So it's emphasis on tools, sharing and collaboration with stakeholders, ensuring quality of data, insisting on a data-driven process, and encouraging opinions and suggestions that allows this business to have be backed with data. This also allows for us to be more investigative in nature, right? So once you have the data, it allows you to go into details, investigate, see what the problem is, do a analysis, recommend what can happen. Today, with the new age uh, analytics coming in, you also have prescriptive, what we call. So the classic example of that is when you're driving down, your phone or the Google map will also suggest to you the route that you should take based on the traffic conditions and the rain, and the blocks that are out there, and the shortest time that you'd like to take, and the kilometers. So right from looking at data from the past to looking at the data in the future, your organization has to work towards making sense out of it. Just to summarize what we discussed till now, the strategy is not so much about data itself, it's about leveraging the data. So it's about giving importance to the process and techniques of encouraging a data driven culture within the organization. You should definitely look at starting small, work within your functions, work within your departments, then roll it across the organization as you grow, as the process matures, moving away from a very ad hoc culture of requesting one-off reports. Okay, get me this data, can I look at this report from time to time, to a more mature process where you have information at your fingertips at any point of time. And today's tools and techniques allows you to be able to do that. You have dashboards, live dashboards, that can be put on a smart TV, which is available on the shop floor or within your office. You have a mobile app where you can see the information on the go as you go. And various ways of looking at that. So to start small and then make improvements into this. A very important fact is the not only just viewing and visualizing the data, but also to be able to collaborate with your team members, looking at and with your stakeholders, sharing that information outside, and then taking action upon it. Because you're doing all this so that you can take a decision. So it should have that actionable insight. Where do you start and what you decide of your objective is will take you where you want to head. To leverage better, and many of this may seem a little, like we mentioned, maybe time consuming, and maybe takes a lot of effort to do it. The best practices are available out there, a lot of information is available out there. Reach out to partners, reach out to people who work in this space to look at how they can help you to come in and look at your processes, build this as in within the organization, and creating an optimal blend of the people, the processes, the technology, and looking at that. Leverage technology extensively. There are solutions available on the cloud, be it for your CRM, be it for your ERPs. To create that data driven framework, you first need to have the data in place. So, from day one, if you inculcate the culture of having data within the organization set well, then it would be much easier for you to pull out reports, easier for you to automate that entire process, from collection to dissemination, to do that. And uh, if you still believe that there is more to be done, and there is that you can avail BI as a service, which many organizations would offer to the business, where they would come in, work with you in parallel to look at what are your key objectives, what your business is, and what do you need to be doing that, and where do we start and taking you on that journey. It is very critical to stay competitive. It's important to have information at your fingertips. So, with that, I would come to the end of my presentation. I would be happy to take any questions that you may have. Okay, so somebody has, I have Nitin here putting what kind of data driven tools are recommended for SMBs. So that's what I briefly touched upon. It first we when you say what kind of tools are needed, it is to begin with where are you and how are you capturing your data today. Basically, based on the kind of business that you are running, you will want to start. It could be just even in Excel sheets. It's not that Excel is not a good tool. It could be the best tool depending on the size of your organization and where you are. But putting a process in place in terms of what you want to be doing with it is more critical. So there are tools out there for, be it to say you want to capture your sales data, you could have CRM solutions. There are quite a few on the market: HubSpot, CRM. If you are doing mail campaigns, then Mailchimp. Again, a couple of other applications are for mail campaigns, digital marketing tools. So the each and every segment in the industry, or each and every area that you would have, are available. There are also quite a few open source tools available for businesses to be able to leverage without spending too much, if the tools meet your processes as is. So for, let's say, for HR, and you want to do your entire HR process, you want to automate, there's this open source tool called Orange HRM. I have no personal preference here for any of these. It would really be based on the business and based on the size of the company, the capability on handling technology, managing it there by themselves, are available. Then there are also subscription services available for a fee, where it could be based on the number of employees, number of users that you could look at. So for every business function that we spoke about, be it your HR, operations, be it for your day-to-day reporting, there are quite a few tools that are available out in the market. Similarly, for the analytics side, again, there are a bunch of tools available in the market for doing your data analysis, capturing data from multiple sources of data. So I have data coming in from social media, I have data coming in from Excel sheets, I have data coming in from my ERP, CRMs, or even manual feeds that users are keying in. Then turning that data into the app, into it, and creating a dashboard where then users can look at it and make decisions. So there are quite a few tools also out there in the market for this activity. There's another question on what are the parameters and techniques to check correctness of data, by Uma Shankar. So the very fact that when we get into a data driven process would tell you that the data, that is the underlying data, is giving you the results or not. So to give you the classic example that I already mentioned at the beginning, was that the data, when we were looking at the production planning data, somebody had keyed in 801 instead of 810. That led to a huge hue and cry of, oh, we didn't meet our targets, or we missed out the production plan, right? So the correctness of the data is basically to do a lot more on automation of some of the information, which takes away dependency on human interventions, so that the lesser there is intervention, the more the process is smoother, and gives away from taking away from the data system. So we look at techniques to integrate within the organization. So there was a production planning system, but they were not using it well. They were still entering data into the production planning, or the production planning is getting fed, but it is not being used at the shop floor planning. So we looked at, can we integrate the two? Can we get output from the production into the analytics tool, so that they can actually then see what is the actual versus the uh, target, or what is the planned versus actual, and looking at that. So the more we streamline the process, the more you look at automating these processes, putting the right checks and balances in place, to do that will identify. The very fact that certain anomalies and outliers get thrown out during this process also indicate that there is some data related issues that you need to go back and then cleanse your source systems, or cleanse or capture that information correctly when you do that. I have another question here, is what is meant by churn analysis? Churn analysis is, it depends again on the market, but it's primarily the number of customers who are leaving your website, who were initially purchasing from you. I'm just taking an e-com player where it's very more frequently used in the e-com and retail space, is where the churn is when people who are buying from you are no longer buying, they are no longer your customers, right? So there's a churn of the customers. That's what the churn analysis is. The contrary to that is the retention analysis that you would want to do, or the retention techniques that you'd want to apply to reduce the churn. So you have people who are buying on one side, and you see that they are no longer returning, or they've been a frequent buyer, but you see a pattern that they are no longer returning to purchase. That is the churn. Any more questions? So if there are no more questions, I would like to just end and summarize what we discussed. Okay. So thank you for your time, and I hope we all are now ready to be data driven. We run detailed workshops with our customers where we work with them to understand their businesses, their processes, understand the pain points or the opportunities that they are looking to tap into, what their key objectives, help them to arrive at the metrics to do that, and then help them to set up a complete data governance framework, and consult to how they should go about this whole process, and look at a complete end-to-end comprehensive reporting solution, a data visualization solution that will help them to achieve these objectives. So I thank you all for your time. You can reach me at the numbers and the email ID given there, and I'll be happy to answer any questions in future as well.